Hey folks, we are back with another episode of CalfKickSports, and today we are breaking down the landmark 306, the UFC 306 card, also known as UFC Noche. Now for this podcast, we'll be discussing Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili, Grasso versus Shevchenko 3, and Diego Lopes versus Brian Ortega. But before we get into the finer details, gents, here's a question for both of you guys. What do you think of this event? I mean, like, your honest thoughts. Do you think it's a great event? Personally, just my thoughts, I think it's fairly mediocre. Aside the three really good fights, it doesn't really, it doesn't really tickle my pickle, man. But I'll start off with you, Lewis, man. What do you think?
I think the way they promoted it to start with, you would expect then from the early prelims, maybe not to UFC 300 standards, but the way Dana was promoting it, I kind of expected like from top to bottom, complete massive enough names, especially a lot of like Mexican fighters and stuff like that. There's a lot of fighters you sort of expected on the card that we didn't seem to come to it. But there's a lot of fighters as well that I think Dana built it up this much and they were sort of like clutching at straws. And don't get me wrong, as you say, like it's a decent enough card and the three main fights are brilliant fights. But from the way the UFC and Dana's built it up, I do feel like they could have done a lot more and had a lot more sort of bigger fights, bigger names, more of a star thing, because I've seen a lot of complaints about the ticket sales and stuff like that. They're not going to how they expected, but they've known about this event for a long time now, which begs the question, like, if you've known about it, you understand what the fans want in this type of card, and if it's going to cost you this much to put on this card, as they're saying, you'd think that they would have a lot more sort of bigger name value. Don't get me wrong, obviously, as we say, the top three fights are whatever, the big names and stuff like that. But other than that, it's not really the card that we expected. Name value-wise, don't get on, there's a lot of good fights from the card that maybe going under the radar a bit. But in terms of like name value-wise for promotion and stuff like that, it seems they're more promoting the where it's being held more than the card itself. But what would you think? What would you think?
I say, I was confused at first when I was looking at it because it's like Riyadh season, Noche.
Yeah,
Sponsorship.
Yeah, this is the sponsorship. They're funding this whole thing, which is like why they're doing it. But they outpriced the tickets. Like nobody can afford to go to this. Like this is a rich man's event. It's like I think I saw it was like what, like $5,000 for like the 200 level. I saw online that the tickets were going for like $5,000 for like the 200 level. Like it was too expensive. Yeah, it's crazy. And I saw some people online upset, like, why isn't Brandon Moreno there? And it's like, well, he said he's taking time off. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, they really don't have like the Mexican like top names. They don't have. Where's Yair? Like, they could have some guys in here that would have this card really nice, and they could have the fight in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? That could change everything. But yeah, I feel like they definitely dropped the ball with how they booked this. Dana White scoffed at the idea of having Conor versus Nate Diaz there when he was asked about it months ago, and he like didn't even know that Nate was Mexican. It's like, bro, that could be the main event right there. But yeah, no, I think they really dropped the ball with how they booked it. O'Malley and Merab, it's not selling at the Sphere, and I don't think it didn't need to be Noche. All right, this fight didn't need to be Noche.
Agreed. Yeah, it's just strange because the sponsorship, obviously from Riyadh season, they have a vested interest in this, and it's almost like if you see the Abu Dhabi card coming up, Saudi Arabia 1 and 2, can't remember, but if you see the card coming up, it is absolutely fire. Like it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
And it just makes me think, are you guys diluting this card to make yourself look better? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think that's a part to play, definitely.
Yeah.
I think the bank is definitely gonna have some say in how these cards are set.
Yeah.
Nah, it's a strange one. But look, overall, it is a good card. Like the top three cards are great. Sean O'Malley versus Merab, and just like his theme song, man. Like we're gonna find out who the superstar is. I think personally, if Sean wins, this will propel him to absolute superstardom. He's trying to be a Conor level superstar. this might actually do it, man. Who knows? Well, I'm being biased because I'm a big Sean O'Malley fan. I should probably not be saying that because I've interviewed a lot of Merab's teammates, and I still I'm team Sean all the way. But what's your thoughts on this, Jermaine? We'll start with you, man.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm bittersweet that he walked out to Lupe because I was rooting for Aljo, and I'm a huge Lupe is my favorite rapper, and I was like, why did he have to come out to that song? You know what I'm saying? Anywho, I think for this fight, man, you know, I was watching like a lot of highlights. There's some key fights like Petr Yan versus Sean O'Malley. Yan was pretty successful in his grappling. You can't let that happen with Merab in there. But when you watch Marlon Moraes versus Merab, you know, Merab is just he almost got knocked out like 3-4 times in that fight. So this fight, like, it's very interesting to see what's going to happen with this one, but I am going to lean the way I usually lean. Like wait,
before you do that, I'm gonna stop you right there for the prediction, because we'll still slightly different.
So when they were asking about the superstar.
So where do you think, Sean's kind of strengths lie? Where do you think his strengths lie, and where do you think his weaknesses lie against Merab?
Definitely like the he's a sniper. He has his footwork. He can get out of the way. I think the footwork really confused Aljo when they fought. So yeah, the footwork and his just how fast he is with his hands. But I don't think he's not faced a wrestler of this caliber. Henry Cejudo wasn't ready for a wrestler of this caliber. So I don't think Sean O'Malley is going to be ready for a wrestler of this caliber at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. What about you, Lewis? What do you think, Merab's strengths and weaknesses are in terms
I think it's all determined. Like the first round, I think Merab, because even though he's so strong with the grappling and the wrestling, he's not got a lot of submissions. I don't know how many submissions he's got at all, actually.
He's got barely any.
And for somebody with his style of grappling, against someone like O'Malley, which we were told he's got a very good sort of jiu-jitsu base, even though we don't get to see it much. But I do think that Sean's striking, he needs to sort of accept the fact he's going to get taken down many times. He needs to just realise that. He needs to get himself back up, because it's not, I don't think Merab's type of grappler where he's got to keep him down, but it's how much he's got to take out of him when he's getting back to his feet, and has he got to still have that same sting in his power, and then that'll open it up for Merab to sort of open his striking up a bit. But I do think if O'Malley sort of needs to be real patient, especially, but you have seen him get like hurt in the feet when he's trying to grapple, whereas I think O'Malley's got to try to take full advantage of that, which is I think it's like a sort of old school like striker versus wrestler sort of mentality fight. The only difference is I think O'Malley's got a springy sort of jiu-jitsu in him to sort of keep it interesting on the ground, which I would look forward to seeing. But Merab's just wrestling like it's a tenacity, just constantly pushing forward, pressuring. So that if you can do it, as we said, like if you can do that to Henry Cejudo, like what can you do to O'Malley? But the difference with Cejudo was he was based on like trying to get back to his feet and out wrestle him, whereas I think O'Malley might throw a few submissions up, which might make it a bit more exciting and interesting. But I literally do think it is an old-fashioned sort of striker versus wrestler, and it's all about O'Malley's gas tank, because there's no many fighters, if anybody, can sort of keep up with Merab's pace.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's both good points. I'm probably going to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off. I personally think Merab's getting slept in 2 rounds. I'll tell you why, because everyone keeps going on about Merab's wrestling against Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo's 5'4", man. There's not much distance between Merab and Henry Cejudo.
Has Merab fought someone this tall before?
I don't think so. I mean, has he
That's long as well.
No one. No, in fact, no one. Look, Cody Stallman, 5'6", Marlon Moraes, 5'6", Jose Aldo, 5'7", Pierre Yan, 5'7". They've all been short guys.
They're all short guys.
They're all short guys. And with Sean O'Malley, he's not the best, takedown defense guy. But here's one thing that he's very good at: fucking distance management, man. He's not gonna let you get close, man. As Charles says, he's not gonna do it. He's gonna stay away. he's gonna keep the distance. And just my opinion, like Merab got hurt badly with a left hook here by Marlon Moraes, and he got hurt badly with a left hook here by Henry Cejudo. Now, I don't think Sean O'Malley has got explosive like hooking power with the left, but what he has got, he's got distance management, he's got knockout power, and Merab would have to close the distance to land any strikes. When he comes in, Sean can easily clip him with the right hand, man, and it's just lights out. So the more I see it, the more I've kind of watched both of them fight. I love Merab. I think he's a great fighter. I just think, man, he's getting slept in 2 rounds, man. Personally, like, sorry.
I wouldn't be surprised as well. I just think, as you say, the difference where, like, Sean's finishing ability on the feet is more powerful than Merab's finishing ability with the grappling, I think, which is a massive sort of thing. Like, sort of, as you say, like, Aljo, like, even though Merab might be more like a wee bull sort of thing to grapple and stuff, Aljo's submissions, I would say, are probably up. Well, looking at his record, it just shows you he's got a bit more of a submission game compared to Merab. And also, I think O'Malley's confidence now after beating Aljo as well, he's like, you know what? Because I think that's probably the hardest fight for him. And obviously, he's got stuff to worry about. He's obviously never not going to be worried about any. He's in a fight at the end of the day, but he's not. Merab's not exactly known for his knockout power or submissions.
No, he's not.
He's a machine grappling, and
he's got one submission, by the way. He's got one submission.
Exactly. Like, so O'Malley can open up a lot more than what I think he did in the first round, maybe against Aljo, because he knows that he might get taken down. But I think he's confident in himself. Get himself up against the cage and get himself back to his feet, and then get back to the. I think if O'Malley gets taken down a couple of times and he manages to keep getting back to his feet, I think that's when, if he doesn't already catch him earlier than that, Merab's got to really struggle. I do think so. I do lean towards O'Malley like, in that sort of sense, because I do think he's just got a lot more ways to finish the fight. It's one of the fights. That's what it's exciting about. But I can't see Merab winning by finish anyway.
No,
I've been wrong all year. I've got so many predictions wrong. I just feel super confident. I'm like, look, man, I got to get one right. Come on.
Yeah.
I got to get one fucking right. I just think Sean O'Malley is sleeping Merab in 2 rounds.
I didn't think Sean was gonna sleep Aljo, but he did kind of. I'm still gonna go with Merab in this one. I'm definitely gonna stick with Merab. I think the pace is gonna be just too much. The only way I see Sean winning this is if Merab actually tries to stand and box with this man. Like he's talking. He keeps saying, I'm gonna stand and box. Merab's coach was like, yo, if he stands, he's gonna get knocked out. So like
basically, mate. Yeah,
like don't do it
that way.
So like, whoever wins this fight is just holding the belt for the upcoming challenger. They're just holding it for a little while. But I'm definitely gonna go with Merab to just get the decision. It's funny, and somebody was talking about Bilal versus Shavkat, and they were like 100% finish rate versus 100% decision. And that's the same thing we're getting here. That's the same thing here. Merab's got no finishing power. No, he doesn't finish at all. But and O'Malley can put you out with one. So it's gonna be a crazy fight. But I'm gonna go with the wrestling to get it done.
Now, what do you do? Say if Sean O'Malley is the winner. I mean, we already know what's gonna happen. If Sean O'Malley wins, it's almost like, you know what? Yeah, there's another Dagestani on there in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Go fight Umar and Nurmagomedov. So what do you think here? Say if Sean wins, we'll do Merab winning as well. But if Sean wins, how do you feel like he fares against Umar?
I think he gets dog walked by.
I agree with you.
I think Umar is just so talented. Like he's great everywhere. Like it's not just the Dagestani wrestling, but he has that wrestling, and then his kickboxing is insane. He can switch and like fight from either. Like he's great, dude. I think he's gonna just walk through either Merab or O'Malley. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think both men should just enjoy being champion. After this, whatever happens, Mar's just gonna come in, and then Khabib is probably gonna be in his corner, and you know what Khabib's like. It's like playing PS5. UFC 5, you know what I mean? But unbelievable. What do you think, Lewis? Yeah, if Merab versus Umar, I mean,
I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, with Umar, he's more sort of obviously with striking, especially the kicks. The kicks are unbelievable, but he's got that wrestling behind him that it's got to struggle for Merab. Merab's got to struggle if he does keep it on the feet. I think Merab will struggle with his speed and his power, with his kicks especially. But I think Umar's a terrible matchup for Merab, just because he's got the wrestling defence that he's got to be able to maybe even out grapple him as well, which wouldn't surprise you. But then at least he's got enough to keep it on the feet. And then if he's got enough to keep it on the feet, I think there's only one winner there. And then it's got to take the wind out Merab, try to stand and sort of bang with Umar, because Umar's just so quick on the feet.
Yeah.
It's just so different to sort of any other. His brother's fairly similar to Usman. The kicks, it's just, I think that's the new generation of the Daghestanis. Is everyone's in trouble when there's the new generation of Daghestanis coming through. Like, you can't out grapple them, you can't out strike them. You've not really got much chance at all.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's just so apparent that who the next champion's gonna be. But look, if Sean's motivated, if he manages to beat both those guys, fucking just make the Ilya fight, man. Why not?
I actually think if he wins this fight, I think he's got to just go guns blazing, hoping. Well, even if Ilya or Max, no matter what, I think O'Malley knows what he's doing. He's smart. He might just I think he's got to just try to go for the featherweight fight anyway, because then if he does lose, he can jump back down, and then he's got an absolute killer like waiting for him. But at least that way he's not taking as much a risk, and then he's going up, he can get double jab, because even though both of them are really hard fights for him, you're probably guaranteed almost that both of them would just happily stand with him, which does play into his factor no matter how good he is, even though how good they are also. But whereas Umar's just got to, if he wants to out grapple him to the point, he's not got much. I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't know that because he's no actual fought anything yet. But judging by Umar how he's getting on, I think he's just an absolute nightmare for anybody.
I mean, what he did it wasn't the best fight, but what he did in his last fight against a tall opponent, you're doing that to Corey Sandhagen. Like,
it was even earlier on, but then as the fight went on,
exactly, he's got the fight
over.
Yeah, awesome. But look, we'll move on to the co-main event. Women's MMA is still alive. Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso 3. Other way around. Grasso versus Shevchenko 3.
Yes.
But what do you guys? For me, I watched the last fight. I literally just watched the last fight. People were saying that Valentina definitely won, and I'm thinking, how, man? I think Grasso edged it, personally. I think she did just about enough. And it's crazy because with Valentina Shevchenko, she's known as a very technical striker. She does everything very methodically. What I've noticed about Grasso, she's a fucking opportunist, man. She's almost like, if she sees your back here, she'll take it as quick as possible, or she'll try and knock you down. She's there to try and finish you as soon as or fast as possible. Whereas Valentina Shevchenko is a little bit more methodical in her style. But it's strange, man. They're very evenly matched. What do you guys think of the matchup, Lewis?
I think it's another sort of 50-50, because the first fight was close, and I think the first fight sort of surprised everyone, even before the submission and stuff. I think people, because it was fairly close, even though Valentina was maybe edging it, but like the first round especially, like Grasso was catching her a fair amount of stuff. And I think the thing with Alexa Grasso as well, she's got that sort of Mexican spirit in her where she's constantly going for your throat. She's wanting to finish non-stop, and she can't be derailed by, like, a lot of fighters have fought with Valentina and the fight's basically over before it starts. Whereas she had it in her mind, she was going to go and take the title, and she knew what she was going to do. It is, and in the second fight especially, I think that, as you said, I'd say probably 50-50. It's one of the hard fights to judge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually like really looking forward to this. Just like, obviously women's MMA sometimes it goes up and down, like the expectations. But in terms of this fight especially, it's one of these, both of them are talented as anything, both grappling, striking, so it's one of those ones. But I do think, I've got a feeling Grasso's got to edge it again, even though the second one's a draw. But I think Grasso could edge it away. But the only thing is, Shevchenko now is she knows that she needs to pull it out, and she might come out a lot more aggressive. She might But even in the other two fights with Grasso, it's not like she'd done anything wrong. I think they were both just so evenly matched and they both were so well rounded, which normally Valentina, she'll beat if it's a grappler, beat them in the grappler and striker. She'll try to beat them at their own game, whereas I think Grasso was just sort of trying to match her in both ways. And I sort of think that surprised Shevchenko a bit. But I do think, obviously, for this fight, she knows now what to expect, that she's not just got to blow her out the water. So I think it will be a 5 round. I think it's definitely going the distance. I'd put my money on that. If I was to pick a winner, it's so hard to pick a winner on this, though, because it's just all that depends on the mentality of Shevchenko, because she might be like, I need to go for it. But that might open herself up to get caught a bit more. But I'm edging Grasso just because I think with Mexican Independence Day and stuff like that, you know what, like she's, but
He's gonna go by the judge's decision. Like, yeah.
Judge's decision. I think it's going to go to the judges this time. Again, but I don't think we're going to see her finish this time.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty. I don't know. It might be pretty evenly matched, but Grasso has put on quite a bit of muscle over the last few fights. Like recently, she looks pretty big for. Like this is the biggest I've ever seen Grasso. Valentina didn't respect the boxing from Grasso, and Grasso's just she's better with her hands. She just keeps coming forward, and she's got that beautiful Mexican style. This should be the main event. All right, this should be the main event.
I mean, man,
it's your only Mexican champion, on Noche.
Yeah.
And why would you even try to compete with Canelo?
He's Mexican.
Man, yeah.
But I don't know if you do that to compete with Canelo, man. I think it could be a closer fight, but it's like, dude, anything could happen because they're so evenly matched. I feel like Shevchenko could pull off a submission. I think that would probably be her greatest path to victory, and because I think they're just too evenly matched in the striking. And Grasso's got great wrestling. We've seen that. We've seen her finish her. Yeah. We've seen, and Valentina's overall the better fighter, which is more skilled, I guess, if you will. She's got more ways to win, and I think she needs to dig deep in her bag if she wants to get this win, look for a submission. But I'm going to roll with Grasso to get it done with the boxing, to outpoint her.
Yeah.
I think she's going to frustrate Valentina, and Valentina's probably going to move to a different weight class.
I'm going to go against my guest again. We had Grasso on the show as well. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing today?
Yeah, you guys did just have Grasso.
Just genuinely believe this wholeheartedly. If this is Valentina Shevchenko 5 years ago, I don't think Grasso would have had as much success. So the main reason as to why, just as my opinion, and a few fighters have said the same, that spinning back kick that Valentina Shevchenko did, it was more of a technical mistake, and it's almost like she didn't react fast enough. And what goes with age? Reaction speed. It goes with speed. And even in the second fight, Grasso took her back again. It's like, did you not learn from the first fight yet that she could do this again? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like at this point in time, actually, I'll agree with you guys. I think Grasso's going to win this. Purely because of the speed. I think the boxing is a little bit better, even though she was getting hit by a jab in the rematch. Yeah, I just don't see Valentina winning this dominantly at all. I think it's going to be a hard fight if she does win. But the more and more I think about it, I'm just talking myself out of it. I think Grasso's going to win. You guys convinced me. Yeah. All right, no, Grasso's got this all day, man.
Oh, yeah.
She's too fast. She's too quick. Now the winner is obviously going to be Manon Farrow, I believe. I think she's next.
She's next.
Thanks. Yeah.
What do you guys think of that matchup, Lewis? Go ahead.
See, to be honest, I think you've got Valentina and Alexa Grasso, and I just think they're just a level above the rest of the division. Although having this fight now too, you've got to see a bit. There might be something in this fight that surprises you about the other contenders and stuff.
Yeah,
but I just think technically wise, I don't know if any other women in the division come close to them, to be honest. There's obviously a lot of other good fighters and stuff, but the two of them are just so technically sound. I think because they're competing, it's similar to the Figueiredo and Moreno, I think. Like the two of them, there's constantly eyes, their throats, and you just watch them fight all the time. I would honestly not be surprised to see a fourth fight. I would honestly not be surprised to see a fourth fight.
If Val wins, they'll do a fourth one, I'm sure. You know.
Aye, exactly. They kind of have to be honest.
Could they really sell us on a fourth fight?
Nah, they're gonna make them fight other people, and then
they got.
guess who's fighting again? You know, in a year and a half, 2 years later.
We'll bring it back.
Throw Macy Barber in there for filler.
Aye, well.
Shevchenko's old though, and I shouldn't be saying that.
I was gonna say like she's my age.
I'm the same age as her, bro. I mean, in fighting years, you know, we're still young.
Yeah.
But she's 35, man, and I know how it is to be 35, man. All of a sudden, you wake up with aches and pains, and you're like, "What the fuck's going on?" What did the last 10 years ago?
I've not hit that yet.
But yeah, that's I mean, we're pretty much unanimous on this, Grasso. Moving on, Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. Now, this is meant to be the big one a few months ago. It did get cancelled. So just to kind of give you some background to whoever's not aware of it, Diego Lopes, Brian Ortega was going to happen. Brian Ortega got sick literally hours before the event. I was always thinking this is a little bit of an iffy fight because Brian Ortega has publicly said, win, lose, or draw, I'm moving up to lightweight. Like, why would you say that before the fight?
Before the fight,
Why say it before the fight and then rebook it?
Oh, by the way, I'm struggling, guys, to make featherweight. Like, why? You might as well just say that. Like, I'm gonna be so drained. By the way, like, just what the fuck, man. But what do you guys think of this fight? I'll start with you, Jermaine.
Yeah, so when the fight was booked before, you know, I was definitely all in on Lopes. Then he fought Ige, and he looked pretty human in that fight.
He didn't look superhuman.
But what was the weight class? Like 170 or what were they fighting at? Like,
I mean,
it was like an hour notice for Ige.
Yeah, man. He took down 2 hours notice, and look how he won that third round. He won that third round.
Yeah, so it was like not in the weight class. It was just all crazy circumstances. So I don't know if you could really judge Diego Lopes' performance on that, how he kind of faded in the end there. So I'm going to stick with my pick of Diego Lopes. I think he's just really good everywhere with the boxing. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. Yes, Ortega has great jiu-jitsu, and his boxing has gotten better. I think his striking is honestly overrated. Like, I think people overrated because of the Korean Zombie fight. And
I agree strongly.
I felt like Zombie just like he wasn't cutting him off. He was just chasing Ortega that whole fight. So I was like, man, he just like set him up to look amazing.
He was literally just going like this, just hit me in the chin.
Yeah, like dude.
Please hit me with a 1-2.
I think people overrate Ortega's boxing because of that. He looked great against Yair. I thought he was gonna get smoked against Yair.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, I wouldn't say he looked great, but you know what? He looked like a fucking dog, man.
But to get that injury, that ankle injury, like right before the fight, and then still like
on the way out.
So like, you know, he's resilient. If anything, he was able to sit in there and keep taking that beating from Max Holloway until they were like, no, man, let's just stop this. All right, it's over. So he's tough, but I'm gonna roll with Diego Lopes. Like, he should be just the bigger guy in there, just more powerful, just better.
Yeah, that's very understandable. What do you think, Lewis?
I've actually, as much as I like Brian Ortega, and I do rate him highly, I think Lopes is just going to absolutely blow him out of the water in the first round, if that.
First round.
He's just, it brings that sort of like the chaos to it. And I've got a feeling he's going to catch him, maybe drop him, and then even sub him, because I think he's got good jiu-jitsu in that as well. But obviously, Ortega is known for his jiu-jitsu and stuff. But I just think he's on this much of a roll. He's got to come out all guns blazing, which might backfire, and he might end up in the second and third round struggling with Ortega, where Ortega might catch him in a sub or even the striking two. But I don't know why. I've got this feeling that Lopes is just going to come out and blow him at the water in the first 2 or 3 minutes. He's riding that a big high sort of thing, even though like his last fight it was chaos the way he stepped in the last second sort of thing. Which I think people forget, like they do, that must have affected his mindset as well. Like you've went through fight someday and then you don't even know if you're fighting, and then you're trying to warm up, but you don't know if you've got a fight or you don't know, and then Ege's like a legend of the sport. He's been about forever, and you're like, oh shit, like now I'm fighting somebody like that.
Who can
Right.
knock people out, by the way.
Exactly. He's got
Mhm.
power as
He
well,
can knock
like,
people out.
he's got power. He's fought all type of varieties of fighters, like styles and stuff. But that might have sort of, and I don't know, like even though because he did seem to like slow down a bit against Ige, even though Ige was the one that stepped up. I've got a feeling that he has got to just come out and I don't think it's a testimony of like level wise how good they are, because I do think Ortega's just up there and skill for skill is good, if not better. But I've got the way Lopes fights, he seems to drag people into a pure chaos fight.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling he might end up dragging Ortega into that and catching him and then dropping him or something, and then might get the sub on him. Or he might end up dropping him, going into the sub, try to submission or grapple and get caught himself.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling this fight's got to be chaos, though. I do. I think it's got to be a wild fight for. I don't think this is going the distance.
No, I don't think so at all.
Nah.
I had a dream about this, yeah. I had a dream where Diego Lopes was just barring the fuck out of Brian Ortega for 2 rounds. And in the final third round, yeah, Brian Ortega just rallies and just chokes him out. And I genuinely think, yeah, I don't know why, it makes no sense, because both of what you said is very logical. Like, I'd actually, like, if I was a betting man, I'd bet on that. But I just got Brian Ortega winning this. And I don't know why. It just makes no sense. I think he's just durable. He's fought the who's who of the featherweight division. He's fought Max Holloway. He's fought, Volkanovski.
He didn't look good in those fights.
Sorry, say that again?
He didn't look good in those fights.
He didn't look good in those fights, but he's still the best.
He held on.
And he didn't get finished,
Yeah.
Right.
Max, but yeah.
Yeah, Max finished him.
Kind of a finish,
Nah, it was something.
He
It was
saved him.
I saved him, exactly. I saved his eyeballs.
Mhm.
So what do you do with both of these, Ben, on a win? So Diego Lopes, if he beats Brian Ortega, he takes the ranking of number 5, I believe, and number 6.
3.
Oh, wow. Brian
Yeah,
Ortega's number 3.
It's 3 versus 12.
Crazy.
Jesus Christ, man. The UFC are hoping and praying.
Yeah. And
They're like,
Ilya already
"Ooh."
said he wants to fight Diego Lopes. So
Sorry, say that
hopefully, Ilya already spoke. He already said that he wants to fight Diego Lopes.
Like,
It's a bit too early, no?
Yeah, I don't know. He threw the name out there.
you know, everyone except for Holloway.
I think he's gonna knock out Andy.
No way. No, that's bro, we're gonna have to do a podcast on that.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck, man? I can see
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. The most hit person in the UFC, like
Oh,
Jeez.
that's another fight as well, but I think Lopes, if Lopes wins, he could chuck him in with Volkanovski to see how he gets.
Ooh, I like that, you know. I don't know why I like it that much. That's a good
But
fight, you know.
There's no point because Volk hates to wait about, and you never know. Like time the Max and Ilya fight happens, you never know how that's going to end up either.
Yeah.
Chuck them in together, and in that way, when I fights for the title, you're guaranteed a rematch if Volk wins with one of them. But at least you give Lopes that option as well. It's a hard fight for him, obviously, but at the end of the day, if he's want to fight for the title, he's guaranteed a title shot if he beats Volk.
yeah. I don't know if he beats Volk.
Nah, I don't know either. I don't know.
I know. The only thing I've got, the only reason why I got Diego Lopes winning is I don't know how good Volk's chin is anymore, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know he's been knocked out by 2 incredible champions.
Back to back.
Yeah, back to back. I personally don't want to see Volk in another title fight straight away. I know he deserves it. You know, he's the featherweight god for fucking how many years, yeah? So it's like, yeah, I deserve a rematch, but it's almost like, bro, just take a fucking easier fight, man.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
just go down
he
and-
needs to, because he can wait. The time they fight, he doesn't like waiting about. So there's no point in waiting on my title shot, because then that way, you know, because you don't know how that fight's going to play out. It might be a very close fight that ends up going to a rematch. You just didn't know. Whereas I think the Lopes and Volk fight, if Lopes wins, is the perfect fight to make. Exciting as well. You can sell that to the rafters as well.
That's a
Whereas
beautiful fight.
I don't know about the Ortega fight. Like, if Ortega wins, honestly,
Ortega's going up. He's going up. So regardless, Yeah.
It's a bit pointless then, really. And when you
No,
think
yeah.
about
I mean, who would you match him up against? Would you put him against the top 15 straight away, like just based on his name?
lightweight.
Yeah, let's look at the lightweight rankings. Hold on.
Yeah, so
Yes.
man, you got Paddy Pimblett at 15.
Paddy Pimblett. What about Gamrot? Chuck him right into what stylistically anyway.
Ooh, I like Ortega versus Benil Dariush.
Something like that. Aye.
That's right. You're horrible. You're a horrible person. man.
What?
You just like,
You
yeah,
wanna see that
Benil
fight?
Dariush. It's like you just tossing the 35-year-olds to the heap.
No, I think Benil wins that fight.
No,
I think Benil gets it done.
No. I don't think so. Durability is a bit of an issue with Benil.
Aye.
Yeah, man, I feel bad for him. He's gotten so close, and then
And then it's just been took away.
yeah, like right
That's
when he
what
gets
happens.
there.
Like, see it all the time.
Yeah, I do like him versus Paddy Pimblett. I think that would be a great fight.
Exciting. Could sell
Yeah,
the life. And now Paddy's after Paddy's last one as well, you can sort of justify him fighting these bigger, sort of higher. Well, obviously he's not going to be ranked at lightweight, but still the higher names. Like, because I remember the time when Paddy first started beating a couple of guys, they were like, no, you feed him to anyone in top 15, he's got to die. And then the Bobby Green fight, I still can't believe it. I still can't believe Bobby Green shot on him.
Yeah, that's so dumb, man. Like I
It's
thought
so-
Bobby was gonna
man, it was so
stand
stupid.
and knock him out.
But
Yeah, I spoke to Paddy Pimblett's teammate months ago, and then it's like, why does everyone just underrate? I mean, I know he personally, I know he lost that fight against Jared Gordon. With Jared Gordon, I don't even know if
Jared
that
Gordon.
guy. Yeah, yeah. I know he lost the fight, but it's like you're allowed one shitty fight, man.
it
And
happens.
you know,
And it's
it
not like he
happens.
was completely dominated. There was a close fight where people were arguing he should have lost. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
to the extent like it was a bad decision, but in
It
the
was a
day
bad
it happens.
yeah,
I think because of the way Paddy is and because of how he's like boisterous and loud and that, people underestimate how good he actually is, especially his grappling. People underestimate that.
yeah.
I think Paddy Pimblett will be a favourable matchup, maybe even a favourable matchup. One more fight, and I think Dana will be rubbing his hands like, could I get away with this? could I chuck him in for a title shot?
Hmm.
Hey, they should put him against Dan Hooker or something like that, man. That'd be
I love Dan Hooker, but
horrible fight.
if Paddy was to be fighting for a title, I would love nothing more. Obviously, being for Britain, but obviously, I love Paddy anyway. But
Yeah, same. I think it's funny, man, and I hope I hope he does go far. But look, we are digressing. Hey, look, UFC Noche is a fucking rap, man. 306. It's not the best card, but hey, look, it could be better on the night. I'm sure it's gonna be a fucking banger of a card.
Mhm.
But thanks, boys, man. For coming on the podcast. It was such a fun
You
chat.
guys.
And we will be breaking down 307, where we'll be discussing why the fuck Pereira's fighting Khalil Roundtree. Why is
It's all the shaman magic, man.
Shama.
we discuss next show. But for now, thanks, folks. Make sure you subscribe, share all that good stuff. But till next time,
See you guys.
Boys.
take care, boys.